The skies over New Beijing burned crimson as Captain Maya Chen watched from the hidden bunker's viewport. It had been 3 years since the Galactic Coalition descended upon Earth with overwhelming force. 3 years since every spacefaring race in the known galaxy had unanimously voted to subjugate humanity. 3 bitter years of resistance. "Captain, the supply team is back," Lieutenant Raj Singh announced, pulling Maya from her dark thoughts. "They'd brought something you need to see." Maya followed him through the cramped corridors of Bunker 7, one of Earth's last remaining resistance strongholds. The passage opened into what had once been a subway maintenance tunnel, now converted into a makeshift command center. Dozens of haggard fighters worked at salvaged equipment, their faces illuminated by the blue glow of screens displaying enemy movements. "What did you find?" Maya asked, approaching the team unloading supplies from an unmarked hover truck. Dr. Eliza Wong, their lead scientist and a former quantum physicist at MIT, held up a strange crystalline device. "We ambushed a Craxian supply convoy." This was in a heavily guarded container. The device pulsed with an eerie violet light, its surface etched with symbols no human had ever seen before. "Any idea what it is?" Maya asked, resisting the urge to touch the alien artifact. "Not exactly," Eliza admitted, "but the Craxians were treating it like it was more valuable than weapons-grade plutonium. And," she lowered her voice, "it's emitting radiation patterns that seem to respond specifically to human proximity." Maya raised an eyebrow. "Respond how?" "It gets stronger when we're near it. Especially you, actually." Eliza held the device closer to Maya, and as if on cue, the violet light intensified. "No other species we've tested causes this reaction." Maya frowned. The coalition races, the insectoid Craxians, the amphibious Forel, the silicon-based Lithians, and 4 other species, had arrived without warning. Their message was broadcast to every device on Earth simultaneously. By unanimous vote of the Galactic Coalition, Earth is hereby claimed as a resource world. All humans are now property of the Coalition. Resistance will result in extermination. No explanation. No diplomacy. Just swift, brutal conquest. Earth's military forces have been overwhelmed within days. Most governments surrendered within weeks, but not everyone had accepted their fate as slaves. Small pockets of resistance formed across the globe, including Maya's group in what remained of China. "There's something else," Raj said, handing Maya a data tablet. "We intercepted a coalition transmission. It was encoded, but we cracked it." The screen displayed a message that made Maya's blood run cold. "Priority ALPJ. All coalition species. Pro-GCT-SUPPRESSOR at 87% completion. Upon activation, all human cognitive anomalies will be neutralized. Estimated completion: 14 Earth days." Cognitive anomalies. Maya looked up from the tablet. "What does that mean?" Eliza took a deep breath. "I have a theory. For months, I've been studying the physiology of our captured coalition soldiers. There's something fundamentally different about human brains compared to all coalition species." "Different how?" Maya asked. "Our neural plasticity is off the charts compared to theirs. We adapt faster, learn quicker, innovate more readily. It's why we've been able to reverse engineer some of their technology, despite being centuries behind them." Maya looked at the violet device. "And this thing? I believe it's either part of their suppressor or a prototype for it, a device designed to dampen whatever makes human cognition special." The implications were staggering. The Coalition hadn't just chosen Earth at random. They feared something about humans specifically. "Can we use this against them?" Maya asked, mind racing with possibilities. Eliza's eyes gleamed with determination. "With time, maybe. But we need more information." 2 days later, Maya led a small team into the heart of the Coalition's regional command center. The mission was simple but dangerous: plant surveillance devices and get out. But as they moved through the facility's shadowy corridors, they encountered something unexpected. "Hold," Maya whispered, raising her fist. The team froze as voices approached, neither human nor Craxian, the species that primarily controlled their region. A door slid open nearby, revealing two tall, slender beings with shimmering blue skin. Vorel diplomats, rarely seen outside their aquatic environments. "The humans are adapting too quickly," one Vorel said, its voice a melodic burble through its translator. "3 of our research facilities have been compromised this month alone." "High Command underestimated them," the other replied. "The suppression device must be deployed immediately, before they discover their true potential." Maya signaled her team to remain hidden as the Vorel continued down the corridor. Once they were gone, the humans moved silently toward the room the aliens had exited. Inside was a laboratory filled with equipment Maya didn't recognize, centered around a large transparent chamber. Within the chamber, a human woman floated unconscious in a viscous fluid, her head connected to dozens of wires and tubes. "Oh my God," whispered Raj beside her. "What are they doing to her?" Maya approached a nearby console, activating her wrist device to copy its data. "Whatever it is, we're taking it back to Eliza." As she worked, the woman's eyes suddenly opened. Despite being submerged, she seemed to look directly at Maya. Then something impossible happened. Maya heard a voice in her head. "They fear what we might become. The barriers in our minds. Breaking." Maya staggered back, clutching her head. The woman's eyes closed again, but the message had been received. Back at Bunker 7, Eliza analyzed the data while Maya recounted her bizarre experience. "Telepathy." Eliza's eyes widened. "That's not possible." "I know what I experienced," Maya insisted. "And it fits with what we heard the Vorel saying about our true potential." Eliza's fingers flew across her keyboard. "The data you recovered, it's incredible. The Coalition has been studying human neurophysiology extensively. According to this, they believe humans have dormant abilities that have been suppressed by our evolution." "What kind of abilities?" "Enhanced learning capacity, pattern recognition far beyond normal parameters, and yes, even potential for extrasensory perception. That's why they invaded, because they're afraid we might develop telepathy." Eliza shook her head. "It's more than that. These reports suggest humans were engineered long ago by a species the Coalition calls the Architects. We were designed with capabilities that could threaten the established galactic order." Maya paced the small lab. "So the suppressor would permanently disable these dormant abilities, ensuring humans remain controllable slaves." Maya's hand closed around the violet device, which they'd brought with them. It pulsed brighter as she held it. "And this?" Eliza smiled grimly. "It's not a weapon against us. It's a key designed to unlock human potential. The Coalition found it in an ancient site on Mars. They've been studying it, trying to reverse engineer it to create the suppressor." For the first time in 3 years, Maya felt hope surge through her. "Can we use it?" "Theoretically, yes, but it would require connecting it to their main network. We'd need to infiltrate their primary command ship." That night, Maya couldn't sleep. The woman's words echoed in her mind. "They fear what we might become." What else had the Coalition kept hidden from humanity? What were they truly capable of? 2 days later, Maya stood before a map of Earth, addressing the leaders of resistance cells across the planet. The plan was audacious, perhaps suicidal, but it was their only hope. "We have confirmed that the suppressor device will be activated in 10 days, she explained. "Once active, it will permanently limit our cognitive abilities, making resistance impossible. We must strike now." The plan was set in motion. While diversionary attacks drew Coalition forces away from their primary command vessel, a massive ship hovering over what remained of Shanghai, Maya's team would infiltrate it and use the crystalline key to sabotage the suppressor. The day of the attack arrived with red skies and bitter winds. Maya led her team through underground tunnels that emerged half a kilometer from the immense shadow of the Coalition command ship. Disguised in salvaged Coalition armor, they approached the vessel's loading bay. "Remember," Maya whispered as they passed the first checkpoint, "even if we fail, Other teams will continue the fight. But failure wasn't an option. Not today. Security was lighter than expected. The diversionary attacks had worked. Maya's team made it to the central control hub with minimal resistance. As Raj hacked into the ship's systems, Maya placed the crystalline device on the main console. Now what? She asked Eliza through her communicator. According to the data, it should interface automatically if it's. Before Eliza could finish, the violet crystal flared with brilliant light. Every screen in the control hub flickered in and went dark, then reactivated with new symbols, ancient and unknown. Maya felt a strange pressure building behind her eyes. The crystal pulsed in time with her heartbeat, growing brighter with each throb. Around her, her teammates clutched their heads, experiencing the same phenomenon. Through the viewports, Maya could see coalition ships suddenly losing power, drifting aimlessly. On the screens, coalition soldiers collapsed across their bases worldwide. The pressure in Maya's head reached a crescendo, then suddenly released. With its release came clarity and knowledge that wasn't hers. She knew how the coalition ships worked. She understood their language, their technology, their weaknesses. Somehow, the crystal had unlocked something in her mind. In all human minds. "Captain," Raj called, his voice filled with wonder. "I can access all their systems. It's like I can feel how they work." Maya nodded. "The barriers are down. We're becoming what they feared." When the first coalition representatives approached under flags of truce 3 days later, humanity had already taken control of every coalition base on Earth. Their ships lay disabled in orbit, their weapons silent. The Craxian ambassador, a tall insectoid being with compound eyes that couldn't hide its fear, bowed before the human delegation. "We request immediate cessation of hostilities," it chittered through its translator. "We are prepared to withdraw all coalition forces from Earth space." Maya, now representing Earth's united resistance, stood tall. "It's too late for that. You came to our world uninvited. You enslaved our people. You planned to cripple our minds permanently." "We were afraid," the Craxian admitted. "The prophecies spoke of the return of the architect's children. We sought only to protect ourselves. By enslaving us before we could realize our potential," Maya finished. "That time has passed. Now you will answer for what you've done." The Craxian's antennae drooped. "There is more you must know. The reason for our fear runs deeper than you understand. The architects were destroyed by something ancient and terrible, something that sleeps between the stars. The prophecies say only their children might stand against its return." Maya felt a chill despite the warmth of the room. "What are you saying?" "We enslaved you to protect ourselves," the Craxian said. "But in doing so, we may have doomed the galaxy. The ancient enemy stirs. And now, you are our only hope." As the Craxian spoke, Maya felt something vast and cold brush against her newly awakened mind. A presence from beyond the stars, ancient and malevolent, turning its attention toward Earth. The true war, she realized, was just beginning. 6 months after what humans now call the Awakening, Earth had transformed. Coalition technology, once mysterious and insurmountable, was now an open book to humanity's enhanced minds. Ships that once took alien civilizations centuries to develop were being constructed in weeks. Weapons that had subjugated Earth were now being improved upon by the very people they were meant to control. Maya Chen stood on the observation deck of the ESS Defiance, Earth's first true battlecruiser. Below, the blue-green sphere of humanity's homeworld rotated serenely, the scars of invasion already healing under humanity's accelerated restoration efforts. "Beautiful view," remarked Admiral Harrison, joining her at the viewport. The older man had been one of Earth's few surviving military leaders during the occupation. Now he commanded humanity's rapidly growing defense fleet. "It won't stay peaceful for long," Maya replied, her eyes fixed on the stars beyond Earth. Since the Awakening, her sensitivity to the cold presence lurking in deep space had grown stronger, a malevolence that watched and waited. "The coalition representatives are ready," Harrison said. They're not happy about meeting on a human vessel. Maya smiled thinly. They're lucky we're meeting at all. The conference room of the Defiance held representatives from all 7 coalition species. The insectoid Craxians with their chitinous exoskeletons and compound eyes. The amphibious Vorel, their blue skin glistening with moisture. The crystalline Lithians, whose silicon-based bodies reflected light in dazzling patterns. The massive Erdans with their 4 arms and thick gray hides. The ethereal Nivilians who seemed to float above their chairs. The reptilian Saxari with their unblinking vertical pupils. And finally, the avian Corvus, whose feathered crests rose and fell with their agitation. Maya took her place at the head of the table, flanked by Elizo, Raj, and Admiral Harrison. The tension in the room was palpable. Just months ago, these beings had been Earth's conquerors. Now they came as supplicants. The human delegation recognizes Ambassador Krenfak of the Craxian Imperium, Maya announced formally. The Craxian rose, mandibles clicking nervously. On behalf of the Galactic Coalition, I extend gratitude for this audience. The situation has become dire. 3 outer colony worlds have gone silent in the past month alone. Our long-range sensors detect gravitational anomalies approaching Coalition space. Maya nodded. The ancient enemy you mentioned, the one you feared we might awaken. The Void, hissed the Saxari ambassador, its forked tongue flicking between scaled lips. It devours all in its path. It destroyed the architects 50,000 years ago, despite all their power. And yet you thought enslaving their descendants was a good idea. Raj asked, unable to keep the bitterness from his voice. The Lithian representative sparkled as it shifted position. It was fear that drove our decision. The prophecies stated that the awakening of the architect's children would herald the return of the Void. We sought to prevent that awakening. By keeping us ignorant and enslaved, Maya finished. And now your fears have been realized anyway. Not entirely, the Vorel diplomat burbled. The prophecies also spoke of potential salvation through the awakened ones. You humans have unlocked abilities in months that our species have not achieved in millennia of evolution. Maya had seen this firsthand. Since the awakening, humans had demonstrated unprecedented cognitive abilities. Enhanced learning, problem-solving, and adaptation had allowed them to master coalition technology in a fraction of the time it should have taken. Some, like Maya herself, had developed more exotic capabilities: telepathic communication, remote viewing, even limited telekinesis. You come asking for our help, Admiral Harrison stated flatly. After enslaving our people, destroying our cities, treating us like animals. Yes, the Craxian admitted simply. We do. Maya studied the assembled aliens. Their fear was genuine, not just of humans now, but of something far worse. The presence she felt in her dreams, cold and ancient and hungry. Show us what you know about the Void, she said finally. The Nivilian ambassador floated forward, placing a crystalline data module on the table. It projected a 3-dimensional star map of the galaxy, with a spreading darkness consuming stars at its edge. The Void is not a species or a civilization, the Nivilian explained, its voice like wind chimes. It is a cosmic force that consumes energy, matter, even space-time itself. It hibernates for tens of thousands of years, then awakens to feed. The architects fought it during its last awakening and managed to force it back into hibernation, but at the cost of their civilization. And now it's waking up again, Eliza said, studying the map. Because of us. Correlation does not imply causation, the Lithian responded, but the prophecies suggest a connection between human awakening and the Void's return. Maya felt a chill run through her. The cold presence in her mind seemed to respond to this revelation, becoming more focused, more aware. The architects left weapons. The Erden representative rumbled, its deep voice vibrating the table. Scattered across the galaxy. We have found 3, but they require the neural patterns of the architects, or their descendants, to activate. You want us to power ancient superweapons that you don't understand, Maya surmised. We want to survive. The Corvus squawked. As we presume, do you? Maya exchanged glances with her team. The choice was clear, even if it meant working alongside their former oppressors. We'll need everything you have on these weapons, she said. And on the void itself. Earth will not stand alone against this threat, but neither will we forget what you did to us. As the conference concluded, Maya returned to the observation deck. Earth seemed so small from here, so vulnerable. Yet in just 6 months, humanity had accomplished what took other species centuries. What might they achieve in a year? In 5? You're thinking about the future, Eliza said, joining her. Maya nodded. The Coalition feared what we might become. Now they need exactly that to save them. Poetic justice, Eliza agreed. But the threat is real. I've analyzed their data on the void. It's like nothing we've ever encountered. A cosmic vampire that feeds on the energy of stars, planets, even life itself. Can we defeat it? Eliza shrugged. The architects couldn't, and they were far more advanced than we are now. But they did manage to force it back into hibernation. At the cost of their civilization, Maya reminded her. We're not them, Eliza replied. We're something new. 2 weeks later, the ESS Defiance led an Earth Coalition joint fleet toward the coordinates of the first architect weapon. The massive ring-shaped structure orbited a dying star near the edge of Coalition space, its surface etched with the same symbols as the crystalline key that had triggered humanity's awakening. Maya stood on the bridge as the fleet approached, the cold presence in her mind growing stronger. It knows we're here, she said quietly to Raj, who managed communications. It's watching us. The joint scientific team, human and coalition, boarded the ancient ring station. Its corridors, designed for beings of human proportion, came alive at their touch. Symbols glowed along the walls, pulsing in patterns that Maya somehow understood. They reached the central chamber, a vast space dominated by a pulsing core of energy. The coalition scientists attempted to interface with the technology, but were rebuffed. It requires direct neural interface, the Lithian scientists concluded. Human neural patterns. Maya stepped forward. I'll do it. Eliza grabbed her arm. We don't know what it might do to you. We don't have time for caution, Maya replied, feeling the cold presence drawing nearer. The void is coming. She approached the core, placing her hands on the interface panels. Immediately, energy surged through her body, and her consciousness expanded. She saw the history of the architects unfold, a magnificent civilization that had seeded the galaxy with life, including early humans on Earth. She witnessed their desperate battle against the void, and their final sacrifice to drive it back. And she understood the weapon's purpose. Not destruction, but containment. When Maya's awareness returned to her body, she knew what had to be done. The ring isn't a weapon, she explained to the waiting scientists. It's a cage, part of a galaxy-spanning containment system designed to trap the void and put it back into hibernation. Can we activate it? Asked the Craxian ambassador. Maya nodded, but we need all 3 components, and we need to lure the void to the containment point. As the fleet journeyed to recover the remaining architect technologies, Maya felt the void's attention focus increasingly on her. In her dreams, she confronted a darkness that had consumed countless civilizations, a hunger that could never be satisfied. Why do you resist? It seemed to ask. All ends in darkness eventually. Not today, Maya would answer, waking with cold sweat covering her body. The second component was recovered from beneath the ice of a frozen moon. The third from the heart of a gas giant. With each recovery, human understanding of architect technology grew, as did their connection to their ancient progenitors. The final confrontation took place in deep space, at the precise gravitational center of the 3 architect structures. The human coalition fleet arrayed itself in a defensive formation as the void approached, a spreading darkness that extinguished stars as it advanced. On the bridge of the Defiance, Maya connected herself to the ship's communication system, linking with the other humans who would help activate the containment system. The void is not just a physical threat, She explained to Admiral Harrison. It attacks on a mental plane as well. It will try to break our concentration, to make us despair. As if summoned by her words, the cold presence flooded into her mind with greater strength than ever before. Images of destruction and death filled her thoughts. Earth consumed by darkness. Humanity extinguished like a candle flame. The universe itself winding down into eternal night. All resistance is futile. The void communicated. I am entropy personified. The end of all things. Maya fought through the despair, focusing on the neural link with the architect technology. Around her, other humans did the same, their newly awakened abilities creating a network of consciousness that spanned the fleet. The three architect components began to align, creating spatial distortions that bent the fabric of reality. The void sensed the trap too late, its darkness already caught in the gravitational well created by the aligned structures. This will not hold me forever, the ancient consciousness raged in Maya's mind. I will return, as I always do. But not today, Maya replied aloud, completing the activation sequence. Energy surged between the three architect structures, creating a containment field that enveloped the advancing darkness. The void fought against its constraints, but the combined mental focus of humanity strengthened the field beyond what the architects alone had achieved. Slowly, inexorably, the darkness was compressed, contained, and finally forced into dormancy. When it was over, Maya collapsed onto the bridge, exhausted but triumphant. The Coalition representatives watched in awe as humans across the fleet celebrated their victory. 3 days later, representatives from all Coalition species gathered on Earth itself, the first non-humans officially welcomed to the planet since the liberation. In a ceremony broadcast across Earth and to every Coalition world, a new treaty was signed. Today marks the beginning of a new era, Maya announced to the assembled delegates. Earth joins the galactic community not as a subject world, but as an equal partner. The threat of the void has been contained, but not eliminated. It will return someday, perhaps centuries from now, perhaps millennia. When it does, our descendants must be ready. The Craxian ambassador stepped forward. On behalf of the Coalition, I formally apologize for the crimes committed against humanity. We acted out of fear, but in doing so nearly doomed ourselves. The galaxy needs humanity's unique gifts. Maya accepted the apology with a nod, but her expression remained stern. Earth remembers what was done to us. Trust must be earned. But today is a beginning. As the ceremony concluded, Maya stepped outside into the sunlight of a free Earth. The stars would be visible soon, no longer representing threat and dominion, but possibility and promise. The species that had once voted unanimously to enslave Earth now looked to humanity for leadership. The children of the architects had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same. In her mind, Maya could still feel the faint cold presence of the void, dormant but not destroyed. A reminder that some threats never truly vanish, and that vigilance was the price of freedom. But for today, at least, Earth had won its place among the stars. Not through conquest, but by becoming what the Coalition had feared most, humanity fully realized, in all its potential and power. The universe trembled at the implications.